Ooh-wee. I'm gonna start it off by saying this, big baby. Harlem2MSG. After 43 games, I predicted, based upon my every week totals, a 25-18 record. I was one off. 26-17, them boys are. I can't believe it. They are exceeding, not superseding, but exceeding the expectations that I had for them so far this year. My 48 win still is going strong, but I was surprised. I was doing the calculations. I said, man, they are doing better.
They
One
could get
game,
50, they could get 52,
they could. They could. They could.
especially with this stretch that they're in now.
Yeah,
Because
they can
the,
really
the
put some,
only one that I would say should lose, but is a challenge would be Denver.
yeah. And there's some nice tickets for that game that's available for next Thursday.
Really,
I'm very tempted to go. Very tempted to go, you know? Yeah.
that
Yeah.
might be a loss.
Hmm. The only
Might
thing
I won't say definitely. At
hmm
one time,
I can, I understand. Yeah, I
one
can
time I would
understand.
have said definitely a loss, not
Hmm.
necessarily.
True.
But
I get you on that.
I'm leaning toward a loss. But
Hmm.
everybody else,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I don't know how in the world. I don't know how they do this. Well, let me start off by saying this.
Hmm.
It really doesn't matter to me
Hmm.
that much, but it does seem a little unfair when you have people, or well, guys, getting voted into the All Star game
Hmm.
whose numbers are not nearly as good as Brunson,
Hmm.
on- only because of their name.
Hmm.
Like now, Halliburton, okay, yeah,
Hmm.
he has the numbers.
Hmm.
I give him, but my man in Atlanta, come on, man. Plus his team is what in eighth or ninth, something like that.
Yeah. Way under 500.
Come on, man. Come on.
The votes are over. They do. I didn't
I
see the. Yeah, I didn't see
oh, I don't know. I don't know. I thought it was supposed to be over Sunday, but I'm not sure.
because I've been putting my little onesie twosies in there, and you know, it's been pretty going pretty well for me.
I mean the way he plays,
Hmm.
I personally would rather see him get some rest,
Hmm.
but it just would be nice to see him make the All Star team. Should have made it last year.
Yeah, 100% on that one. Let me see. Um, All Star. I don't see the numbers, but yeah, it's just unfortunate. That is the fan vote thing. There's a popularity contest. So Brunson's never gonna win that. So as you said, it's the names. So
Yeah, come on, man. I can't even think of the guy's name now.
who? Lillard,
No, from Atlanta.
Atlanta,
Yeah,
Trey.
yeah, Trey. I mean, come on, man. I mean, give me a break.
Hmm.
And to be honest with you, he has better numbers than Lillard.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And each time he's played Lillard, he's outplayed him.
Hmm. So looking at it, wow. Yeah, Trey Young has the name, and the sad part is New Yorkers don't vote because there's no way in the world the fan base that we have here he should come into any situation where he's less than anybody else, you know. But New Yorkers don't vote. Yeah, he's in sixth place and 800,000 votes away from the second place. That's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Hmm.
I at one time, what they doing it with? Like LeBron pick somebody, and this one
Yeah, yeah. But
that not.
that's after all the fan vote stuff, you know.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
So this is just for the starters?
Yeah, just the starters. But it's still ridiculous. He should not be a starter.
No, it shouldn't be a starter.
But you
I
know.
I will say Halliburton should be a starter.
Hmm.
Halliburton is good.
Hmm.
I gotta give him credit. I mean, I liked him coming out of college.
Yeah, I didn't. So I
I,
missed. I whiffed on that one.
I liked him coming out. I wanted the Knicks to draft him. You
Yeah,
remember that,
well,
right?
yeah, you did. But again, too, like I
No,
said,
I don't buy that stuff about he's not the same player that he's not the kind of player that Tibbs would want. No, I don't buy that.
you watch, you watch. Tibbs is going to wind up forcing these Knicks to go trade for Bruce Bowen from Toronto, another defensive guy that can't score. Watch, which will prove my point.
You mean Bruce Brown?
Brown, yes. Hmm. Watch.
But you don't for what we need.
We
I
don't need him,
no,
but
no,
watch. He get Leon to trade for that dude and give up a draft pick for him. Watch.
no, I doubt it. And if he
Mm-hmm.
does,
Hmm.
it, that doesn't mean that if he gets a player that plays a certain style that he won't let that player play. No,
Okay.
I'm telling you, man.
Okay. All right.
Or he will be gone.
Okay.
See, your job as a coach is dependent upon wins. And
Okay.
if the way this kid plays
Okay.
now, what there's one thing about Halliburton, he doesn't play defense.
Ah,
But 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 that doesn't mean that if you play for a coach that said if you don't play defense, you won't be playing.
we
That
said Tibbs. We ain't talking about other coaches.
no, listen to what I'm saying though. That doesn't mean that if you play for a coach that tells you,
Tibbs.
listen to me.
What are you talking about if it's not about the Knicks? You talking about Tibbs?
Listen to me.
All right.
If if you get a player, right, and you say, okay, I know defense is not your forte, so to speak. But if you want to play for me, you got to you got to put some effort in there. I think you'll see the effort. I think you'll see the effort because now, as much as I do not want Donovan Mitchell, I don't want him only because of his size. But I do believe if he came here, he'll be forced to play defense. I do believe that. Is either you play defense or you ride the bench. I know that sounds weird for someone of his caliber, but that's what a real coach would say.
Um,
Because
I'll leave it as it is, big baby.
no, why?
I just don't see that as a scenario that will play out with Tibbs. But either way, as a hypothetical, they ain't on this team. You talking about my Knicks.
Well, Tibbs is on your team.
He's on my team, and the other guys we just talked about not on my team, so they don't matter. At the end of the day, what I feel needs to happen, and you already said it the last 2 weeks in a row, and said it last year. You don't want to trade nobody.
Who
What
said that?
gels? You said that to me because I don't want to trade. You know me. I'm not the big trade dude. And the reason why I say that, and I'm gonna make it very clear as to why I feel that way, because I always feel there's always a tax for the Knicks. Now, I will say in the last trade, the tax didn't come to play. Yes, we gave up some, very well liked players on this team.
Like by who?
So on this team, not by me, but on this team. I like Barrett, but I wasn't a big fan of Quickly. But
which I don't understand.
as they show with the applause, yesterday, they were very liked, and I agree with that. But it was the right trade for the fit, and they didn't have to give up no more than a second round pick for that. So I was very pleased with Leon's stick to itiveness to not to get taxed in that situation. And I guess he's showing that ability to be resistant in that way, but not giving in to everybody else's requests. Because you always hear trade. Oh, you can get such and such guy who is a bench player on somebody else's team, but if you give them a first round pick, they'll take it. Why the Knicks always got to give up a first round pick just because? Just because we have them. That doesn't mean we have to give it up. I don't care if we don't trade them, but I'm not giving up for nothing. So and that's my feeling. If even with like in the DeJounte Murray type of trade scenario, they talk about having to give up. They want multiple picks, up to three first round picks. That's ridiculous, especially when you have a situation with Atlanta who don't want to have to pay the tax anymore. So we're getting them out of the tax situation by taking on his 3 or 4 year contract for just a 1 year contract, and just this year
And
alone.
and potentially giving
Hmm
him
A
48,
young, Fournier, and a young player
right? Which
that's
which
under contract.
right.
Hmm So why does the tax have to be 2 or 3 additional first round picks for that? It's ridiculous, you know.
Well,
So
that's why it hasn't happened yet
I
too.
know, but I'm just saying those are the things where I feel that I don't want to trade to happen because we have been taking event, well, been just giving up first round picks like it's nothing. And granted, they have not done that over the past 2 trades or so, and that's fine. I didn't agree with them giving up a first round pick for Hart going to Portland, but that was last year. So at least it's behind them. I can't worry about. They didn't really get a player for them at that point in time. But it's still, you had to give up a first round pick for Hart, and you had to sign him long term. That's ridiculous. You know, it's ridiculous. But either
Well,
way,
I think the way they look at that is that they have enough first round picks
yeah,
to give up one and it won't really hurt them.
okay,
I mean, that's one way of looking at it. Like,
mm-hmm,
you got a guy who's like, you got a couple of $1 million and someone
mm-hmm.
says, I want to say this old Volkswagen for a
Why
thousand
you
dollars
gotta say Volkswagen for?
because
My
I hate
first car, you know
Volkswagen.
that. My very first car, and love it to death.
I didn't say
Trev,
Jetta, I just said Volkswagen.
still, Trev Jetta.
You know what I'm saying? Here's $1,000. What the heck? Yeah, well, yeah, because you got a couple of million. But
hmm
if you only got a couple of thousand, then you a little, then you a
I,
little,
I I understand that. I understand
yeah.
that concept, but still, I'm a penny pincher.
Well, you can penny pinch, but you got to understand sometimes if you got it, spend it sometimes.
hmm hmm
You know, and Hart has I think Hart has really been a good pickup.
I'm not. It's not a
I know
questioning
what
the
you're saying.
player.
I know
Yeah.
what you're saying. You're not saying you're just saying what we had to give up to do it.
hmm
I understand,
hmm
but I'm just saying I think he was a good pickup.
hmm
And I really like the fact that he's so versatile in the position that he can play.
hmm
And then that seems to be just to go back for a moment
hmm
to he seems to be the perfect Tibbs player.
Oh yeah, he's lying with Tibbs all the way through. I mean, that's the truth about that. So there's
And
no question.
and and Anobi also.
Oh yeah, he's lying with that. Definitely so.
Because they can play several positions, defend different positions,
hmm
you know, score a little bit.
hmm
You know, I think they're gonna try to get another scorer.
Yeah, I
Um,
just don't want them to overpay. That's all. That's my only big hang up. You know what I mean? It's the only big
well,
hang up.
I think that's why they're holding on and
hmm
not giving Atlanta what they want because
hmm
clearly, in fact, what I read is that which I don't know why they're looking at Clarkson in Utah.
Yeah, it's just. Oof.
I don't understand that now. I mean, I don't like the kid,
Hmm.
and
He's not. He to me, he's not. He's a worse J.R. Smith.
yeah, it's like,
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
shoot, chuck, 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 chuck,
Hmm.
and you talking about no defense,
Hmm. Yeah,
you know.
he's an open curtain.
Yeah, he,
The blinds are open on him.
I mean, you got to play some defense.
Hmm.
You know, all he wants to do is run and gun.
Hmm.
Um, we do need since the guy that you don't like left. Our
Oh, I ain't gonna tell you what dude said that irritated me even more so, which really put the nail in the coffin why I couldn't stand the dude.
what did he say?
It sound it means nothing to everybody else, but for whatever particular reason, this dude cannot give New York what its credit is truly is as a city. Again, in his interview yesterday, this means it's off the wall comment. I was asking him about leaving New York and the things about New York. Well, he goes, New York is one of one of the big markets. Maybe it's in the top five. I'm like, really, dude? Really? You want to on your way out, you still want to throw shots at New York, which is bookends to his comment when he came into New York, talking about comparing New York to Kentucky. Was Kentucky was better than New York? Like this dude.
You said
So
Kentucky was better than New York.
yeah, he said the pressure in New York is nothing because of Kentucky. We have big crowds every single night. There's not New York is not. It's not
Now,
New York is not like
now,
Kentucky.
wait
I'm
a
like,
minute. Now,
I'm like, yo,
now, let me just say this. Sometimes, and I didn't know he said that. I never
yeah,
knew he said
that's what started my
Venom.
distance, the venom.
But let me
and
just
then
say,
and then on his way out, he said just the same thing in essence.
but let me just say
Maybe it's
this.
a top media market, maybe top five. What?
Sometimes, sometimes when a fool speaks, you just don't listen because that's a very silly statement to make.
Hmm.
Now, if you said Chicago
He
or
said
LA,
Kentucky. Hmm.
if you said Chicago, LA,
Look,
maybe, you
and
know,
the funny part about that, Glenn, was that in the interview, the interviewer said, "You understood what you just said?" He says, "Yeah."
like they say, are you serious? Kentucky? Come on, dude.
Yes, the interview, and he doubled down on it. So that's what.
Now,
So
don't get me wrong. At Kentucky, they do have large crowds for their
yeah,
game.
but the from
Nothing like the Garden. Come on, dude. Give me a
so
break.
so like I said, that's where the venom, as you said, perfectly stated, where the venom started, and then on the way out, the venom continues. I
That's
will
because
never.
he's just not a clearly he's just not a sensible young man. He just I mean, because everyone no one and again, like I said, you said Chicago, if you said LA, I can say, okay, yeah, you might have some grounds for thinking that, but there's no way in the world you're gonna tell me that, excuse me, that Kentucky
Hmm.
is equivalent or above
Hmm.
New York
Yeah, this
as
is nothing.
far as
We've had big crowds, big things in Kentucky. Like what? Oh, yeah, yeah, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it was on his way how he throwing, in it. It just, yeah. Anyway, I've already spent enough time talking about dude I don't like, so I'm happy he's gone. Do what you got to do. Go get your money. Do
but
whatever.
the reason that I brought him up is because
Mhm.
we do miss him on the bench though.
I feel this, and this is why the Knicks are looking outward for their solutions over the past 11 games. Well, 11 games now since they've been traded.
They're 9-2, right? In 11.
That's fine. The results have been fine overall, but my displeasure is in the bench's inability to step up their game. Now, if this means that that's really who they are, then we definitely got to go get somebody else. But if they have taken this step, taken this opportunity. Because right now we lost 33 points a game based by those two guys going, basically. And so that has to be filled up by somebody else on the roster right now.
Well, 15 of it is being filled up by
By
OG.
OG, right? But then the remaining 18 points is not coming from the bench. McBride nor Grimes nor Hart is putting additional points based upon now them playing more. And
What
so,
what I think they would like to do is get someone like
hmm
Murray
hmm
and start Murray and then put um Dante
back on
on
the bench,
on the bench.
which that type of solution is fine. I'm fine with that, scenario, provided they don't overpay. But I'm fine with that
And
scenario. He's a 6'5" guard, very long arms. He can be a very on ball, great, good defender. I would agree with that. Just don't
and he can
overpay.
score. And
Oh yeah,
and
he can score.
score.
He can put the ball in the hoop. Yeah.
And here's the other thing. They may pull off a Brown and Murray type situation where they get another point guard because as what I see, and I think they see it as well, that Deuce, he's not ready to run a team yet.
Right. hmm
He does a lot of dribbling, running around, going in circles,
Still,
and
still deferring. He still defers a lot. He still defers a lot.
see, I don't know whether it's deferring or whether it's trying to.
I don't see the try. I see the defer. When Randall's on the out 20 feet away from the basket, when you just give him the ball, that's deferring. That happens too many times. So you got to have a little pushback to that. Say let's run the offense. Let's go. He gets up the ball. He goes running the corner and wait. That's deferring. That happened yesterday multiple times. Happened and even in the game where um where Brunson was out. Those
But
two
I
games
think,
that he was out.
but I
He
those,
there was a lot of points in those games where he still deferred too much. I'm like, come on, man.
but I again, I think some of those are set plays called by Tibbs.
But even if the set plays to give it to Brunson and move to the corner, that's still a deferring to me. To me, it's still in the same bucket.
No, but
Still
that's
in the
not.
same bucket to me. It's still in the same bucket.
But not if you being told to do it.
It's still in the same bucket to me. I'm sorry. I'm talking about from an actual player standpoint. I'm talking about just from the coach's standpoint. But still, it's just still too
I'm
much
I'm
too
I'm
much
I'm
too much
telling you
giving up
to
the ball
run.
in that
I'm
scenario.
telling you to run set 1, 2, 3, right? And that's the set that I want run. If it happens to be that it goes to Randall, then it goes to Randall.
At 20 feet away from the basket, no, no. If
But
Randall was in the post, I have no problems with that. But on 20 feet away from the basket, he now has to initiate from 20 feet. Where that's not in his best interest to do so.
don't get me wrong, I don't disagree with you, but I'm just
hmm
saying, telling you,
okay, I get
I
it.
don't, I think that's, see, maybe we're saying the same thing, just using different words.
hmm
Because you say deferring, and I think it's an
Directed from tips,
no,
which
well, I think it's directed from Tibbs, and I
in,
also think
in either scenario, I don't like it.
I also think it's inexperience.
Mm.
In other words,
It's a better way
I,
to categorize it. Yeah.
I think someone like Brown or Murray or um Quickly,
hmm
you see a difference
hmm
in that they would they would say, okay, you get down low, or let's pass it to
hmm
this, pass it to that one. That you see they handle it differently.
hmm
So I think it's inexperience,
hmm
and I think um, I also think that he moves a little bit too fast,
hmm
and that he's almost out of control sometimes, and the other guys are not on the same page with him when it comes to speed. And I think that's another reason why they have him drop it off to Randall just to slow it down. But the problem with Randall, when Randall gets the ball, he's not going to facilitate.
hmm It's
is
it's a it's a last second decision
yeah.
to an open, granted, to an open man who makes a three, which appears in the stats to be great. But like
Excuse
just
me.
in the last game against who they played, Toronto, and even in the game against the Wizards, throwing the ball in the stands, throwing the ball to the wrong guy. He did that multiple times, multiple turnovers. That's still same overspin. Look, oh man, throw it to him, and it's a crazy pass. So against a more competent team, those situations will come back to haunt us. And from what I've seen in these last 10 games, um, Randall has been taking more and more and more 3-pointers, where he was not doing that in the first sets of tape during the prior to the trade. So that scares me. I don't want him taking more threes. He's been very effective and efficient being initiating the offense 10 feet and in. He's been taking more and more threes. Maybe whether it's one or two more a game, that's still too much more than what he could be doing down low. And his percentage still hasn't gone up. He's still in the low under 30%. So it's like, don't take more and you still shoot under 30%. So that concerns me. So hopefully, whatever it is, whether it's his ankle that's causing him to selling, taking those selling shots for 3-pointers, because his ankle can't deal because he sprained his ankle about a few games back. And if he's feeling some effects from that, I'll give him that if that's the case. But he got to get out of that. You can't have him taking more 3-pointers. We can't have that done. He has to initiate his offense back again from 10 feet in and do what he got to do. Especially since there's no big man under the post. Come on, come on. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
That's true. He does have a tendency to shoot more threes than he did at the beginning of the season. There's no question about that. Um, but I think that could be because of the loss of Quickly.
Could be. And again, to me, there's still no reason for him to do that. Still initiate your offense. We don't need you coming out to get the ball. Get back down low. Still pound them because it's that part. They haven't been able to stop that. So why change it? Unless you are feeling the effects of some sprained ankle and you can't, put that level of pressure on you when you're making the cuts and the turns like that. I understand that. But that's not the case. Stay down low. 10 feet and in. You've been killing them for the whole season with that.
So, again, maybe he needs to not go to the All-Star game and he needs a rest as well.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
You think he's going to the All-Star game?
Yeah, he's going to get selected. Him and Brunson are going to get selected.
You think Brunson will get it this year?
Yeah, I think they both will go.
Brunson should have got it last year.
Right. Just to give you an example, since the trade, he shot from 3-point attempts in the first, in the first 30 some odd games, he shot more than 7 3 times. Since the trade, he shot 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. He shot 8 3-pointers a game just in the last 10 games alone. Whereas in the first 30 games, he only did it 3 times. We don't need that. That's the concern for me. So
Well,
hopefully,
like you said though, when you're going up against a better opponent, that's
mm-hmm,
going to make a difference.
mm-hmm.
Because if he shoots 8 or 9, he's probably hitting 3 of them. He's not hitting 7 of them.
Nope, he's hitting 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's the piece that concerns me.
Hey, just a quick question. Are you one of the persons who had a problem with them signing Brunson?
What?
I'm just asking. I really don't. I
Do
really
you
don't remember.
did you even remember the first thing I even said about Brunson?
Yeah, he's from Villanova and he was good.
That's the foundation.
Oh, that's all. But I really don't remember how. No, because I know he got a big contract. I was wondering what you thought about the contract.
I had no qualms about anything.
Okay, I don't remember.
Ay, ay, ay. It's
I, I,
blasphemy over there.
I don't remember. If I
Maybe it's the
remember, I was
beard.
there.
That's what it is. It's the beard.
And,
It's taking away
and
from your brain function.
the beard is kicking, baby. The beard is kicking.
It's taken away from your brain function, brother.
Or, or as they would say, the beard is fire. No, but I really didn't remember. I couldn't. I'm trying to
Ay,
remember.
ay, ay.
I mean, no, I know you
I
like him as a player, but I was wondering, did you like his contract?
oh loved it, loved it, loved it. I wasn't worried about the money at all.
Hmm. So I guess you're saying they with Dante.
Dante, for the mid-level exception, yeah, he was that's the right money for him. I feel they overpaid for Hart, ridiculously overpaid for Hart.
You think so?
Yeah, ridiculously because he doesn't. My biggest concern with Hart is that his game has not changed since he came into the league. Not saying that's a bad thing, but the because of his inability to add other extra components to his game, whether it be to um, a mid-range shot or even to any post move or any um, one-two dribble type of moves that he has added. He's not added those types of games. So and now when it's needed for additional offensive scoring, they can't look to him to be that second or tertiary person. He's still going to have to be dependent upon others. Have to run a fast break or something where he's going to sprout to the corner, get an open three on the corner. That's it, or some hustle type of plays. He's not going to be able to do anything one on one where that's a necessity right now when there's a bucket that's needed. He can't be dependent for that. He's still going to have to be dependent upon others, and it's unfortunate for someone who's been in the league for that long to never develop that portion of his game. But these guys get paid so much money that sometimes why I work on things like that when what I'm getting paid to do works just fine, and I understand that logic, but it's deficient in areas where there's a need, the definite need, and he can't be the one to fulfill it. So to pay him almost 20 million a year just to be a bench player and still have that limitation offensively, that's a concern. I'd rather him be toward that 15 and that 12 to 15 range, not a 18 to 20 range. That's ridiculous too much for him. That to be that much of a percentage for that type of a player on your team. That's ridiculous to me. But that's what they had to do to keep him, you know?
Well, I think they also did it because didn't they did ask him to wait or something and did some maneuvering or
Oh,
something?
oh, hey, wait. So wait. Take 12 million this year, and next year you're going to get 18. Just wait an extra month to do that. Really? He was suffering from that. He ain't suffer. He he got like an extra 20 million just for doing that.
I know, but didn't it allow them to do something else
It
or
allowed them, yes, it allowed them to get Dante by him holding off and waiting, which is, I would take one just so that you could not sign your contract for 30 days. They were going to sign him anyway. It enabled him to get more money by waiting. So it benefited him even more so.
well you a cynical brother, what?
I just that's it's but that's the what I've seen too many players be content with their game and don't take the
maybe
off
that
season.
maybe in his case what you see is what you get.
That may be all true, but I don't think so. I don't think someone who works that hard within the game doesn't would not be in a situation where he would want to be even more useful in the game. Specifically, if someone who he was drafted last pick by the Lakers, he had to work to get on into the team. You work to do that by your effort and everything else. And even when he was in Villanova, he had a element of his game that was beneficial for college, but maybe in the pros it maybe shut him. He when he tried to do those same things in the pros, it didn't work as well. So he had to do something different, which is more effort. But there's a level of skill that you can always develop. Your handle can always improve. You know, that's just taking time to learn how to do ins and out and to new stutter steps and do all those different things. I don't see none of that in his game. So it's like, what are you doing in the off season to to give you an extra edge to go up against your opponent. He just said, he had to do something with his offseason different than what he's done before. His Because he's never made the playoffs. My season's been over since in April every single year. So you've had April through October to improve your game every single year, and there really is no difference in what you saw from the guy from his first season to year 6 right now.
Yeah, but now in his defense, he does well, which
And
is
that
rebound,
and that's great. But
rebound,
when
and also push the fast break.
but again, against the Miami series, they were keen on that and they took those options away from him. He was not as effective in that Miami series because they made sure that he was not going to be effective getting those rebounds and getting up and down the court. So what's your counter for that? So he was exposed in that way. What did you do to counter that? I don't. That's the piece there from a competitor standpoint that I don't see that portion of it being developed. And that's the I hate to say that, but that's my dude from Villanova. They Big East guy. I don't see that. You know. So
He did get exposed in the Miami series. I must
yeah.
say,
Mm-hmm. But
because
that's my point.
I thought he was going to be the defensive stopper for
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy. For
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy,
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't.
Mm-hmm. He was strong enough, but he didn't have the arms. Jimmy is strong and he has some long arms, big extreme. So he couldn't get into Jimmy's space to make him feel uncomfortable. Okay, so how you make Jimmy feel you? You
You
know?
think you think OG would be better against Jimmy?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. In fact, Precious Achua was even more effective against Miami when they played. Now, how they use Precious, I don't know. I'm curious to see how he's going to be used. He's a 6'8" guy. They're playing him at the five. You know,
Which I don't understand why they don't go out and get a backup center.
because they think Robinson's coming back.
Well, he may come back, but you still need a third 7 footer. I keep saying that. You don't need a 7 footer who can score. You need someone who can just play some defense and grab rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need you don't need Shaquille O'Neal, but you do need a uh I don't know, some scrub that I can't think of a name right now.
Ay, ay,
Um,
ay.
Marcus Camby. You do need,
Marcus Camby,
I know
there's
he,
not too many Marcus Camby on the court field
I
right
know he
now,
was
bro.
good at Massachusetts. I know he was good. I know, but basically, but I'm just saying.
Number 2 pick, come on now.
I know. Out of Massachusetts, I know. I get it. But I'm the point.
Oh,
The point
it's a
that I'm
Marcus
saying.
Camby right there. Let me go get him.
The,
He's on
the,
the tree. Pluck it.
the point that I'm saying is that you don't need a superstar, but you do need a good 7 footer, 6'10", 6'11" guy who's gonna can rebound and play defense.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you need. Marcus Camby, of course, is a lot better than that, but the point that I'm saying is you need that.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need three.
Mm-hmm.
I think you always need three. That's just how I would construct my NBA team. I would have three 7 footers or 6'11", 7 foot. I would have those, and hopefully they stay healthy, but not, And then if things happen, they happen. You got to work with it. And the other thing is what I don't understand about Tibbs is why do you not play these guys a little bit?
That's not his thing. Go back to his Chicago teams, man. He played them 40 minutes a game. That's what he does.
Because
He
because
will burn them out.
because you're looking at Sims, right?
That was the same thing I said, and you chewed me out about it the first year they made the playoffs during the COVID year. By not playing those guys, they failed to develop on the court and to get that comfort level. So when they just thrust into the situation, there's a lot thing they have to overcome, which is what McBride is going through right now. He hasn't played enough to have that level of experience to be comfortable on the court. So that what I'm calling deferring, maybe something else, maybe inexperience as you're calling it. But it's the same thing. Tibbs only he trusts certain players, and that's what he's going to do. And It's got him
but
to this point, but
but
is he
I
going to win a championship?
but I can understand that
Mm-hmm.
in in the guard situation. I can understand that,
Mm-hmm.
but because you have Brunson and you had Quickly,
Mm-hmm.
and it's hard to find time to put in
Mm-hmm.
uh dudes unless you do the old put them in at 2 minutes 2 minutes after every quarter, no matter what happens,
Mm-hmm.
which is not going to really mean that
Mm-hmm.
much.
And even like with Sims, whatever Tibbs is seeing in practice, it doesn't give him the confidence to be able to use him in the games. So,
Exactly.
so that's my conclusion. I'm not in practice. I'm not seeing what Tibbs is seeing with Sims and what his abilities from a awareness on the court. Does he have to be reminded constantly? And there's certain things in practice that because of that you can't trust him. I don't know if any of that's happening. All I know he's not playing, and there's a big 6'10" guy sitting on the bench that's not being used.
I don't. I wish I could. I wish I could be a fly on the wall
Mm-hmm.
because I really don't understand that. Because now Hartenstein is hurt now, right?
Oh yeah, he's hurt. Yeah.
And he may be out for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So now Sims is going to be forced to play.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And when he's playing, just you know, stay away. Don't be using the offense. Don't a lot of don'ts. So you got a player that's and I don't know if you probably haven't seen any of his developmental videos that he's been putting out.
I seen one. I seen
Okay,
one.
and I'm like, hold on a second, he can dribble the ball. Oh, he can shoot a jump shot. I'm like, so that skill set, that ability exists. Why isn't
Well,
that being
you
seen in any particular way? If you're being told don't, and you guys got to make sure don't, just make sure you get it. If that's the direction, I hate that. That's never contributing toward the individual development of a
well
player.
you do realize that
Mhm.
most NBA players have some sort of skills.
Oh, I know. But what they're allowed to use is another story.
Right.
It's the difference. I'm saying that's the don't. Don't do this. Don't do that. And you got that don't in your head. How has a player ever worked with don't? I've seen the effect of that on a kid. Don't they just scared, and it plays out on the court.
But you don't know whether he's been told not
I
to.
don't know. I don't know. All I know what I see on the court. He doesn't even look at the basket. So whether that's directed from the coach or his own lack of confidence in himself, I don't know. It's somewhere in the middle of that where that's happening.
I think it's a lot of it just not getting not playing enough. I mean,
Hmm.
even when he clears his bench, like we up by 30,
Hmm.
and he'll clear the bench with a minute and 34 seconds to go.
Yeah. What type? What's that? What's that? You know?
You're up by 30.
Hmm.
Why don't you give people 5 minutes?
Hmm.
Come on, you're up by 27, you're up by 29, you're up by
Hmm.
30, you're up by 17 with
Hmm.
4 minutes to go. Come on,
Hmm.
man. And now if something happens and you're up by 17 and now you're up by 12 with 2 minutes,
Hmm.
we just put them back in. All right, I got that. I get you.
Hmm.
But come on, man. Now that I don't understand about Tibbs. And I'm a Tibbs fan.
Hmm.
Although like I said earlier this year, I'm starting to lean in the other direction. He does get on my nerves a little bit with some of the
Hmm.
things he does.
Hmm.
But what can you do? But we Achua has some talent. I think he'll be a good backup for Julius.
Hmm. I
I think he'd
agree.
be I think he'd be a good backup for Julius.
Hmm.
So if we had Robinson back and Hardenstein healthy, he'll be good at the four.
Hmm. Yeah, he can give the Obi minutes. Obi
Yeah,
was getting over 10 minutes a game at the four position. So I can definitely see him getting that. I don't see him taking. He can probably get. It depended upon his effectiveness. He can probably get up 20 minutes a game. splitting
Sure.
time between the 3, 4, and the 5.
Yeah. I don't know about the three.
Yeah, it depends on the three who's defending.
Yeah, I guess.
If he's defending like Jimmy Butler, yeah, that's a three he can have him defend.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
Even a guy like in Denver, Michael Porter Jr., that's a three he could defend.
Yeah. Big
hmm
a big three.
hmm Three, not physical three, but a
Right.
thin. hmm
Right. All right. Who's next?
So let's look at the schedule for our boys, and
I think
so the next three games are going to be pretty interesting. Um, we are at Brooklyn on what's today? Sunday. So yeah, on Tuesday.
I think Brooklyn just beat LA. I just want to beat
No,
LA.
they beat the Lakers, but they lost to the Clippers today. And so we at Brooklyn, which is still a home game for us on Tuesday. Thursday they play
Pretty
against
much.
Denver. hmm And then Saturday they play Miami. I still say 2-1 for this week.
You think we beat Miami?
Yeah. Some reason why Jimmy Butler don't play. Can't stand it when that guy does that.
You don't think he's gonna play?
He just always finds a way not to play. He's an irritation to me.
But he played in the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, he took games off in the playoffs too.
Not against us.
I think we did. The game we won. Jimmy wasn't he
Yeah, he
yeah.
sure did. Yeah, yeah.
hmm
That
Game three. Yeah.
game three. Yeah,
hmm
yeah. All right, we'll see. 2-1.
hmm 2-1. What do you say?
Um, I think 1-2.
Okay. All right.
I
Well,
think Miami. I think Miami beat. We have a problem checking Hero.
yeah. Well, that may be different this year.
Yeah, that is true with OG
hmm
because with no J, we had no shot.
hmm So
Uh,
you like my my little snapshot I sent you?
Please, whatever. He's so good. You see how much improved the Raptors are, right?
Yeah, they have a lot of young players on that team, and
Yes, I don't care how many plays. He's a scrub.
you can say whatever
Even
you want about RJ right now. He's not on the Knicks anymore, so I
and
don't care.
and and even I'll just say this much about him. Even Walt Frazier said what I said. Walt Frazier said the problem with Barrett was that he was picked number three, and he was picked behind Moran
Yeah, I heard him when he said that.
and
Yeah,
and
Mhm.
and the kid in
Zion.
Zion, and he could not. He is not on their level.
hmm
He shouldn't have been picked number three. He should have been picked number 33.
Okay, we're gonna end off with that. There's no need to disparage the guy on that level.
Guy's a scrub.
He's no longer here. We got what we needed. He got his money. I'm happy for dude.
I ain't
He's no
happy
longer
for him.
here.
I
Move
ain't happy.
forward.
He's a scrub.
Move forward.
Did you see the dunk that he did? And
Yeah.
then, and then you want to look at the bench like he did
hmm
something.
hmm
Meanwhile, your team wound up losing by 26.
hmm
Come on, man. Scrub.
Well, your
Unbelievable.
boy's skipping all the way, all just hitting a 3-pointer. He skips all the time. That's your
I think
boy.
I think he got a little sugar in his tank.
Hey,
Oh, that skip that he doing. Like, why you skipping around like that? that
skipping.
little, that
That's your
little
boy.
girl.
That's your boy.
I mean, you know what's funny though? When he was on the Knicks skipping, I was like, yeah, go ahead skip. But I don't like to skip it now.
I hated the skip when he was here. Hated it. I'm like, what's all that?
and and now that I know what he said about Kentucky and New York, I don't like him either.
Mm-hmm.
It's
That was my
dumb.
first introduction to the dude. I'm like, what?
You
He's
dummy.
a little arrogant, little something.
It's just a dumb statement.
Mm-hmm.
We got big things here in Kentucky. Biggest thing in Kentucky is the Kentucky Derby.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And the hats.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, those hats.
All right, man.
All right, buddy.
So we're gonna. So you say 2-1. I say 1-2.
I say two
No,
and
no,
one.
no, 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 no. I'm taking that back. I'm gonna say 2-1. Because yeah, I think we could get him.
Mm-hmm.
I think we could get him. Brunson, man, he just I'm so impressed with this guy. I was reading an article just before we go. I read an article today. It said that he is actually the best scoring point guard we've had since Walt Frazier. And the person says no disrespect to Stephon Marbury, but the writer thought that Brunson might be a little bit better than Marbury.
Marbury was more of a point guard than Brunson.
No, no, he said he's talking about scoring.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Marbury was more of a point guard than Brunson. Brunson's more of a scorer than Marbury. I would agree with that.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
and Walt Frazier and
Marbury averaged for his career 20 and 8 for his
yeah,
career.
and Walt Frazier was a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm. You know.
Or actually, Walt Frazier was a little bit of both from the standpoint of
Mm-hmm.
scorer,
For that
defender.
era too, especially for that era too. They didn't, you didn't have
He was
100.
a scorer,
Mm-hmm.
defender,
Mm-hmm.
and he would get assists.
Mm-hmm.
Walt Frazier was something else, boy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
God was
I caught the very tail end of Frazier, and
I
that was
caught
him.
all of his career.
So
God
that is,
was
you know.
man. And back then, you could see Nick games on Channel 9.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how I got to see it.
And Walt Frazier was the man.
Mm-hmm.
Man. Even when they picked up Earl Monroe, he still was the man.
Mm-hmm. Still was the man. Yeah.
Like, oh wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he was something else. Walt Frazier was something else.
Yeah.
They showed clips of him. Did you see the game the other night? They showed clips of
Yeah.
him
So
in
when he
Cleveland.
got traded to Cleveland. Mm-hmm.
Those were some
Yeah.
terrible uniforms, weren't they?
Horrible use. And it's funny because I remember that's it was 78. So I started watching and understanding basketball around that time. So I always heard about, from my uncles and my father talking about Frazier. So I knew the name. And so before I even, got to to see him play and understand what he was doing, I heard about him. But my first really when he was got traded to Cleveland.
Now, well, here's what I didn't know. I
Mhm.
didn't know that Willis Reed traded him.
Yeah, yeah. I heard. Well, I knew the last couple of years he's mentioned it a couple times.
I didn't
That's what
notice.
that was
I
that
didn't.
was the challenge between him getting over that was Willis traded him.
That was it, and that was his friend.
Yeah. He said he still like you said in the broadcast. I still had
Yeah,
trouble
I
dealing with
know.
it.
I was like, shoot, if I was him, I wouldn't be speaking to him.
hmm
I did not notice. I did not know that.
hmm
I guess Willis must have been the GM at the time.
Yeah, he was coaching GM. Coach and GM. That's the crazy part. Yeah.
Wow,
hmm
interesting.
hmm
You think we're gonna get Donovan?
No.
Good.
Yeah, I
Isn't
don't
that
think so.
crazy? Isn't that crazy that I don't want him? He just doesn't feel
But
like
here's the crazy part. Their record is better than ours with him right now.
just by one.
Doesn't matter. They
It
don't
does.
have they don't have two of their top three players.
They just happen to run up against some very poor
You
teams in the
you
last
can't you
seven
can't you
games.
still can't just beat those numbers and have that situation.
They played some scrubs the last 7 games.
hmm
When they start playing the Knicks, the Miamis, the Celtics, the Denvers, and the Clippers, and when they start playing the upper echelon teams,
hmm
they're not going to flourish like that.
Well, like I said, to this point, he has his team
Yeah,
at
yeah,
that level,
because
which is surprising. 'Cause I wouldn't,
yeah. Well, I'm not surprised me if you
Mhm,
playing Washington and you
mhm,
playing Toronto and you
mhm,
playing you know even Portland. Come on, man,
mhm,
play some teams.
mhm,
Play some teams. And which hey, my team is getting ready to go through that right now. Where they getting ready to play a lot of scrubs.
mhm.
Hey, you got to play who they put in front of you. I got
That's
it.
it.
I
That's
get
true.
it.
hmm
But then you can't be bragging because you beating those those scrubby teams either. You got to wait until now. What the Knicks have done, the Knicks have played good teams in the beginning,
Hmm.
and now they're playing the scrubby teams, except
And
for
see,
Denver.
their wins against most of their wins, and I'm just looking at it. They beat Denver, they beat Philly, they beat Orlando, they beat Miami, they beat Dallas, they beat Milwaukee recently. So they've beaten some above 500 teams. You can't knock that. They've beaten more than 500 than we
Really,
have. Than we
I
have,
they don't frighten me at all.
and they won right now 7 games in a row.
I know.
That's impressive. I can't. I'm not gonna. I can't speak bad about them
I can.
because they've lost their top 2 guys. Mobley's not playing, and Garland's
Garnett.
not playing.
Garland's not playing.
You know.
Garnett.
Mm-hmm.
Garland's not playing. Well,
Mm-hmm.
hey, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like you now. I don't care about Cleveland.
Yeah, I don't care about me. I'm just
They don't impress me at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was surprised at that. You know.
Good. I'm glad you are.
Yeah. All right, buddy.
I don't think they're gonna be where they will be better than the Knicks at the end of the year.
I don't want. Hey, even if they are, doesn't matter because we're gonna beat them anyway, so it don't matter.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Because I got a feeling that we're gonna pick up somebody who's gonna put us over the top.
Hmm.
Hopefully, anyway.
Yeah.
One before you go, you like Brogdon?
I was watching him when we played against Portland. He looked a little overweight.
He always looks stocky.
No, when he first came in the league, it was more muscle tone than anything else. It
In
wasn't
Boston, he
flab.
looks stocky.
It looked flab. It looked more like flab to me.
Ah,
Which is,
come on, man.
but I just no. He's still putting up numbers. I'm just saying he just looked different from what I recall when watching him, before. You know.
Gives a run that fat right off of him.
Hey, it wouldn't be. I still feel that they would ask for too much for him. I don't feel that we got to give up. Um, um, if it's a straight Fournier for him, I'm fine. But no Fournier, Grimes, and a pick, no. Sorry. That's what the talk is. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
All right. Well, we'll see what they do.
All right, partner. Harlem to MSG signing off.
Signing off. Adios.